On the worst nights, when the fadeaways are short and the pocket passes are late, Giannis Antetokounmpo skips the showers. He storms out of the Bradley Center in full uniform, from home locker room to player parking lot, and hops into the black Explorer the local Ford dealer lent him. He turns right on North 4th Street in downtown Milwaukee, steers toward the Hole Bridge and continues 6 miles south to the Catholic Seminary in St. Francis, where the priests pray and the bucks drain and the freak dispenses his rage. Alone, Antetokounmpo reenacts the game he just played, every shot he clanked and every read he missed. Sometimes, he leaves by 1 a.m. Other times, he stays until 3, sweating through his white jersey for a second time. I get so mad, and if I go right home, I'm afraid I'll never get that anger out, Antetokounmpo says. This is how I get the anger away. He used to administer his form of self-flagellation on the court, because that's what he saw Chris Paul do after a Clippers loss in LA, but he noticed some fans lingering in the lower bowl with their cell phone cameras and he didn't want anybody to think he was putting on a show. So he retreats, in space and time. Here he is not the $100 million man with a catchy nickname in the barrel chest who studies Magic Johnson's fast breaks and Russell Westbrook's mean mugs, who wrestles LeBron and mimes Dirk, who hears MVP chants and references 40 balls. Here he is not even the spring-loaded first-round pick who arrived wide-eyed in the United States 3.5 years ago, tweeting breathlessly about his first smoothie, refusing to use the auto-pump feature on his gas nozzle because he was so excited to pump it himself, chirping after a burger at an In-N-Out in Westwood Village. This is America right here. The real America. Isn't it beautiful? No, here he is the lanky hustler from Athens, peddling watches, sunglasses, toys and video games, on the streets near the Acropolis while his parents feared that police would demand their papers and deport them back to Africa. Much of his backstory has been told, how Charles and Veronica Antetokounmpo emigrated from Nigeria to Greece in 1991 for a better life, had 4 boys there, and bounced from one eviction notice to another. But the further Giannis gets from his childhood, the more it resonates, in different ways. I can't push it to the side, Antetokounmpo explains. I can't say, I've made it, I'm done with all that. I will always carry it with me. It's where I learned to work like this. He could sell all day, serenade tourists with Christmas carols at night, and return home without enough cash for dinner. Still, he laments, the results were never guaranteed. Therein he finds the biggest difference between his life then and now. If I work here, he says, I get the results. That's the greatest feeling ever for me. It keeps him coming back to the gym, straight from the arena after losses, straight from the airport after road trips, straight from the bed after back-to-backs. Antetokounmpo stands 6'11 inches, with legs so long opposing coaches constantly complain that he is traveling, until they review the tape. He's not, says Wizards coach Scott Brooks. It's just that we've never seen somebody with a stride like this. Among the NBA's legion of stretchy giants, Kevin Durant is the scorer, Anthony Davis the slasher. Antetokounmpo is the creator, traversing half the court with 4 Sasquatch steps, surveying traffic like a big rig over smart cars. Durant and Davis try to play point guard. Antetokounmpo actually does it, dropping dimes over and around defenders' heads, leading the Bucks in every major category. 23.8 points, 8.9 rebounds, 5.9 assists, 2.0 blocks and 2.0 steals. This season he will be the team's first All-Star since Michael Redd in 2004, and before you learn to spell his surname, he will be much more. Growing up, his customers occasionally mentioned his cartoonishly long limbs, but he shrugged. He didn't need a 7'3" wingspan. He needed a sucker to buy those knockoff shades. He viewed himself less as the Greek freak than a Greek grinder. I didn't really look at my body and think about what it meant, Antetokounmpo says. I didn't figure it out. He glances down at his 12-inch hands, bigger than Kawhi Leonard's, bigger than Wilt Chamberlain's. He finally knows those names. A lot of players will tell you, when I was a kid, I watched Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron, Magic, and I wanted to be just like them, Antetokounmpo says. For me it wasn't like that at all. He laughs, because at last he grasps the magnitude of his gifts and the ways they can be unleashed. He understands that a 22-year-old with his build and his drive should never go home hungry again. Antetokounmpo lives in a modest 3-story townhouse near St. Francis de Sales Seminary, in the same complex as his parents. Like any hoop phenom, he subsists on Wingstop and NBA TV.